My hair looks square. Square hair. Square hair. Square hair. Okay, I'm taking my hair down because it's doing crazy things. That's what I get for putting in my clip all day. Okay, you guys, what the heck happened? I just have to talk about what happened, okay? Because I'm still trying to figure it out. If you don't know who I am, I'm Suzanne Titkemeyer. I wrote for Pathos for almost 10 years. Hey, Franny. Hey, that Amber chick. I wrote about the Quiverful movement and evangelical Christianity. And I'm here now doing this, and I'm just incredibly confused right now about everything. Um, I lost internet for over a week. Hey, Saturn. Hey, Misty. Hey, Jan, I am so sorry. I'm sweating like crazy all of a sudden. I'm confused too. I won't lie. That's kind of how I am. Last Saturday, my internet kept cutting in and out, in and out, in and out. That's always a bad signal. That always tells me something's getting ready to happen. Well, what happened is they're building a house at the end of the block. And that is where the internet, the fiber optics come in. They cut the fiber optics to this end of the road. Hi, small town Jewel. Hey, Christine, I don't know what all has happened though. I came back a couple times. We tried to make our way over to Witch's Rock a couple of times, like we always do for dinner, and to use the internet when our internet goes down. It used to be I had my internet through a place called ISE, which is a government run and owned internet thing, and they also do telephone, electricity, all sorts of things. They actually own most of the electrical here in this. I stay sweating with this menopause. Yep, it happens sometimes. Sweat happens. So I lost internet all week. It usually takes them a good week to get back to me and get me completely fixed. They're out here 3 different times trying to figure out why I didn't have internet before they found that the neighbor's construction crew had cut us all off. So they fixed it. They restored it. I'm not happy with them because they ran it through my yard again. Now I got 2 wires running through all my palm trees that I'm just waiting for the first good wind to blow down. So I came back into this mess. I saw a little bit when I was at Witch's Rock, and I made sure to go in and say something to Mrs. Roadhog because the way I read it and the way I was seeing it is apparently she had to get away from Mr. Roadhog. Hey, Melody, for domestic violence reasons. Now, I've heard people saying that this is just another scheme of them. Hey, tea and books. I missed everybody too, that this is just another scheme to make money. I hope that's not the case. So, what I've decided with all of these controversies, I'm just not going to take sides because at this point, I just don't know enough. There are so many people that are saying so many different things, not just about Mrs. Roadhog, but all kinds of situations. Actually, the other thing I was doing this week, I've been extremely bad. You know what I did this week? I'll show you what I did. I replaced something. Ha! I got an iPad, another one. My iPad mini died, so I had to go get one of these. And so I couldn't read books. I was like freaking out because no internet, no books, not good. And I changed my iPad mini died, so it was time to get another one, another iPad. And that's the only one that they sell at PriceSmart in Liberia. So I've done all my spending for the month. That Amber chick, that's what I am feeling. Hey, Christoph and hey, Sunnyside. I'm feeling like um, it may be a real situation. And for that reason, I always, when there's domestic violence allegations, I always take the side of the victim until it is proven that the victim is lying about everything. And there are people that are so eager to say that Mrs. Hogg is lying that they're concocting all kinds of conspiracy theories. I'm not concerned with that. I'm just going to say I'm just going to show her, show her sympathy right now and cut her some grace and pray that she's okay and that those kids are okay. Because that's the thing I'm really worried about. Not just her, but those children. She has littles that need to be out of the zone if there's any kind of domestic violence going on. And I don't even want to think about any possible faked baby. I mean, if that happened, and it looks like it probably did, I'm just going to say we don't know everything. Christine, I take a look every now and then. I try not to follow them too often because I've knocked heads with them. Very concerning, and feel she's taunting him. Well, Christopher, that could be too. The fake baby expose. Yeah, all of that. And you have to wonder what's going on there. And I wonder why Dr. Phil is not not grabbing them in, dragging them in by their hair to this. Yeah, it's a mess. Two unhealthy people feeding off each other, if I'm honest. Misty, that is probably exactly what's going on there. So I try not to get involved in that. It's an unfortunate situation. They all need to be away from each other. That I know. Everything else is just noise. So hopefully they'll stay away from each other and they won't get back together and there won't be some storyline. But this is YouTube, so anything is possible. I'm just going to say that right now. Anything is possible. Yeah, Barbara, I can't either. I could never listen to him for more than a few minutes because I can't take the yelling. I was married for a while to an abusive man, and I can't handle yelling now. Did you hear Todd Chrisley's latest? No, I have not. I have not heard Todd Chrisley's latest. Somebody's going to have to clue me in. I know that he said stuff about without a box of Kleenex, but exactly what he said or what's going down, I don't know. I know there's been new papers filed. I haven't seen any of that. I recognize myself in a lot of their issues and have no problem admitting it. Just couldn't make it this public. Misty, neither could I. Even when I was having bad times when I've been on here, I couldn't make it public. Recently, I had a bout of, I'm just going to call it freak out because every now and then, I don't know about you guys, but I have this problem sometimes. I will be sleeping up in that bed, minding my own damn business. Usually, sometimes falling asleep clutching one of these things, one of these devices, because I'm reading and sleeping well, and all of a sudden, bolt upright in the bed, thinking that something horrible is going to happen. For a while, I was obsessed with the house here. If we were going to lose it due to back taxes, because we hadn't heard anything from the canton in a while. They finally did get back to us a week or so later, but at the time, he called her out. So, yeah, that Amber chick. I have that too sometimes. I have to sit down and think about it. I have to say, now, what's the likelihood of this thing I'm afraid of happening that's just popped in my mind in the middle of the night? What's the likelihood of it? And most of the time, it's not very likely at all. This time, it wasn't likely at all because, like I said, I think I was in the back of my mind because we've been going back and forth with the canton of Santa Cruz about how much the house is worth. And that took a little time to straighten out. And I was a little anxious about that. And I was a little anxious about that. Turns out I didn't need to be. They valued the house at a lot more than we paid for, but it wasn't an unreasonable amount. So when they finally got back to us, that was it. But I was freaking out about it for a good week or so before I got the note from my lawyer saying, "Hey, come in here and bring X amount of dollars. We need you to sign paperwork." You'll laugh at this. You know what the biggest amount of money we had to pay for? You'll think this is funny. The garbage pickup. Apparently, they tax it when you buy the house, and they just now billed us for it. So we have 4.5 years of garbage service we had to pay for, and it wasn't cheap. Oh well. Tagging is a nightmare from phone. Yeah, I hope that she was not pregnant and nothing that anybody did causes the loss of that baby. Misty, yeah, I totally hear that. I got back today and said something about the fact that there was nonsense going on. And you know what happened? I just said effery going on this week, I see, that I don't know anything about. One of the people I know on Twitter that I also know on Facebook screen capped what I'd said and confronted me on Facebook and asked me what I meant. And I was kind of like, I don't mean what. And so I finally got her to tell me what was going on. And she was upset about something that had happened with people who are going after Steve McRae. They're going after Erin. They're going after her. And I just had to say, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't seen any of that. I didn't pay any mind to it. All I saw was a little bit of the without a box of Kleenex and a whole lot of hog. And when I came on, and I'm just been scratching my head. I've been watching people fight with people. For what purpose? I still not sure. No matter what, that one video I've seen in a row is absolutely abusive. Yes, Misty, I believe so too. I believe so. That's what scares me about it. That's why I had to reach out to her. That was something that I had something to do with, was for a while through the military, abusive spouses, doing investigations, home investigations, and you'd be surprised. Oh God, here we go again with the Steve hate. It's honestly exhausting. I'm like, look, it's not like we're all friends like that. Misty, that's how I feel about it too. I know Steve. Steve's been awesome to me, but I'm not going to fight with everybody over their dislike or love of Steve. That's on them. I don't feel strongly enough either way to jump into the Steve Defense Fund. It's kind of funny, when I lost the internet, I was actually on Steve's show. We were talking about religion, about abusive religion. We were agreeing on a lot of things. And then my internet cut out like that. I was really pissed off. On the good note, it's been nice to be away for a full week. I got a lot done on my book. I wrote about 10 pages, wrote and edited about 10 pages a day with no distractions whatsoever. Hey, Melanie. Yeah. Hey, Lisa. Um, yeah. So I think that the best thing we can do. Oh, Barbara, did she? Hey, Beth Idle, I pay her no mind now. Without a box of Kleenex doesn't even rate in my book. And I watch everybody going after her, and I'm kind of like, ho another day, another dollar. That Amber Chick, it is hard work. It's harder work than I ever thought it would be. And I wanted to just take some of my columns and go from there, but that's not how it worked out at all. And I do feel better, Lisa. In fact, it's kind of funny. I had a cold. I had a cold for a couple days, and I got over it real quick. I guess it's because I'm right on top of anything to do with my immune system, anything to do with breathing. So I shut that down quickly with asthma drugs and things, but my husband got it. He's still whining. He's still complaining and carrying on about it. And I'm looking at him going, it's just a cold. What is it about men that makes them so incredibly complaining when they have any little thing? It's like we give birth in silence, or in attempted silence, and they can't even handle a hangnail. I mean, I still can't believe that. Not all men, but it's been my experience with my husband. They can't, that Amber Chick. It's awful. And I'm like listening to him, and it's like, do we have any Vicks Vapor Rub? Sure, it's right there. Can you put it on? What's wrong with your hands? Not getting that stuff all over me. It stinks. So, yeah. So I think the best thing we can do is not give Katie Joy any attention whatsoever. That was a nice thing about this week. I didn't have to give her any attention at all. Men are always wanting to be on the feet, especially when it's, yes, Lisa. And it's pretty crazy how they will do that, literally. So they're small town Jewel. If men had to give birth, there would be no children ever. I agree with that. Oh God, periods alone would kill them all off. They would all be getting hysterectomies when they're 15 or 16. Yep, that's what I did. I just said, here's the Vicks. go to it. I'm not touching you with this stuff. I don't want it on me anywhere. And the problem with a lot of these things like Vicks and with Bengay and those things is if you get it on your hands and you scratch somewhere, or you scratch somewhere you shouldn't be scratching, you know it in a hurry. So I try not to ever touch that crap because of that. And I've never found it works that well for me anyway. So who knows? So yeah, the Steve hate fund is people are out, and I'm just like whatever, I'm just walking away. Misty, I hate Hermes' mom. Yeah, we would never hear the end of their birth stories, and there would be better pain relief if men could give birth. I try not to comment about her right now. Oh, men gave birth. Contraceptives be given out like candy at the bank. You are exactly right. Mucinex really works in this house. Oh, hey, Ginger Lee. So, who patrols? She thinks all these hates they were saying bad stuff, and it's all collected and given to Todd. Is that who? She's talking about her husband was a butthole to threatening plus slandering channels. All collected and given to Todd. Is that who? She's talking about her husband was a butthole to threatening plus slandering channels. Oh, that's the dangerous thing about the internet. If you act like, let's throw that out there. If you act like a butthole, guess what happens? People collect that stuff and they throw it back in your face. That's why I was so astounded when I was contacted about saying that there have been a lot of effery because this person wanted to know what I was referring to. And I was kind of like, just the general overall. They'll throw it in your face. There's been times when others have PM me and said, "What do you mean by this?" And I've had to explain I didn't mean anything much by it. Hey, Sienna. Beth, yeah, there are some of those too. Oh, yes. And I saw Bobby did a video earlier and he was talking about Steve and Red's Rampage. I don't know Red's Rampage. I see her other people's clips of her. I'm like, nope, staying away. And Bobby is free to hate and love whoever he wants. I like Bobby for the most part, but occasionally Bobby gets it wrong, and I think he's got it wrong about Steve, but that is his thing. Well, here's the thing that I've been seeing lately that disturbs me. Todd Paulson was all over his comments, and I did not post a comment as a result because I no longer feel free to post a comment there if Todd is posting there. I don't want to deal with his mouth. I don't want to deal with his assumptions about everything, the butthurt, the whole thing. I just don't want to deal with that. I get it. Todd feels like he has to defend his wife from us evil harpies that are talking trash about her. Remember, snarks are always the victims, and KJ victim is the biggest narc of all. At least I believe that. That's why I'm trying not to talk about it very much lately. Plus, I'm kind of bored and over with it. Like I said, I haven't even looked at the paperwork that came down. I haven't listened to what Todd Chrisley said this week. I'm surprised he's saying anything because I thought there was a notice that they were to cease and desist talking about each other. Todd P is a very butthurt individual. Yes. Hey, Tracy. So I don't know what's going to happen with her. So I was kind of surprised to see Todd P all in Bobby's comments. Down the rabbit hole, I'm not sure exactly what's going on with Steve. Okay. I'm really not. Steve is a guy that turned me on to the fact that Without a Box of Kleenex was plagiarizing from me. And I've always liked Steve. I always got along well with him. But then again, my relationship with Steve may not be everybody else's relationship. And I realize that people are free to like and not like who they want. And there are a lot of people that don't like Steve for whatever reason. Some of that I think probably comes out of the things that Without a Box of Kleenex has said about him through the ages. So I don't know. Hey, little mousy girl. So I don't know. Yes, Tracy, he was in Bobby's comments. Now, I don't mind if he comments every now and then, but if he's all up in the comments, then guess what? I'm not commenting. It's the last thing I want. I don't want any part of that nonsense. Every community except the homesteading community is acting like a school of piranha eating each other. They sure are. And like I said, I'm just not going to participate. I'm going to try to give grace to whoever I think needs it and just kind of go, oh dear, bless your heart, and move past, because none of this is healthy. All this, all of this beating each other up, inventing things, taking little tiny bits of information and extrapolating out things. It's not healthy. It's not healthy for anyone. And he's been kind to me so far. I don't know him to know his personal business and whatnot, plus not fighting random people online. Misty, yeah. Yeah, Bobby's not talking about KJ any longer. That is pretty interesting, isn't it? And I'm curious as to why he hasn't commented on the Roadhog thing, because I would have thought that would be right up his alley, what's going on right now with the Roadhogs. Why is my phone and my iPad are going off? Oh, because they want me to buy a book. Ugh. Colleen, that might be true. That might be true. I don't know well enough. I don't know well enough with him. So I'm just going to stay out of all of that and go for it. Now, Bobby did say, he wasn't going to do the Hogs, and he turned around at the end and said that he would do a video on the Hogs. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. Bobby says the DV. Yeah, the DV. So let's see what comes out there. I do like the fact that Bobby seems to do more of a deep dive than a lot of creators that talk about these things. Bobby is losing my interest with a few stunts lately. Erin, I kind of sort of feel that. I also feel that way about mocking media and Claire. There's just been so much that has happened, so much mud that's been slung, so many allegations that all I can do is just do the two-step away from anybody that's giving out those kind of problematic vibes. I just have too much on my mind to be putting up with that. Yeah, I loved him too. So I'm not sure what's going on there. What was he saying about Erin? Because I didn't see that. That could be true. I believe him too. When it comes to, there's no one wants to get info on that, into that mess. No one does. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So I'm not feeling the love anymore for Bobby that I once did either. Tracy, it's just crazy. It's crazy what people are saying, what people are doing. Like I said, I stepped away for a week because I didn't have internet, and I came back, and it was just this insanity that I can't even begin to figure out. It's just too much. Hey, Bliss, high school drama. Yeah, you do. You have to do that because it wears on you. It does wear on you. Yeah, you do, Lisa. You have to be really careful who you're following in the community. And it's always bad when I see people recommend people that I know are problematic. And I won't argue with them. And I'm not going to say, hey, that creator is problematic. But if you see me never mention certain people, you can guess that I've knocked heads with them in some way. It was about Aaron Claire mocking media and threatening people, but no one would show the proof. Ugh. Somebody told me that Aaron had stepped up and said she was mocking media. That kind of takes all the mystery out of it. Yeah, I'm pulling back too. I'm going to have to. And I have other stuff I'm going to do, other content, talking about fundamentalist religion's attempts to get involved heavily in politics. Do you have an experience with this? Oh, yes, down the rabbit hole. I just wrote a long chapter about this very thing because my husband had to talk to the pastor and tell him to knock it off because, we lived in Virginia, near Washington, D.C., very near. I had a child at the time that was living in Leesburg, Virginia, which is also another Virginia town that is a bedrooms community. One of my daughters lived there. I would go up to Leesburg for various things and to see her. Leesburg is the home of Intercessors for America. Intercessors for America is somehow linked with Patrick Henry College up there and with practically every other like evangelical group up in Northern Virginia, including the Family Research Council where Josh Duggar was working. Our church would take the Intercessors for America little pamphlets. They would have these little pamphlets they give out around voting time. Our church would put them on each individual seat. Each seat had one of those little pamphlets. And the problem was, it was always telling you who to vote for and why to vote for them and what the issues were. Instead of saying, this is who you have to vote for. My husband finally confronted the pastor and said, Misty, maybe so, because I'm going to be back. I'm going to be back in June in Northern Virginia, DC, Maryland area. I'm going to be back for my daughter's wedding. So they were trying to. We live in Arlington when we were in the U.S. Oh yeah. So this group, look them up, Intercessors for America. So the group would tell you who to vote for. My husband finally confronted the pastor and said, you should not be doing that. You should not be putting these voting guides out. If you want to put them in the back of the church, that might be one thing, but to put them on every chair is a bit much. He started talking about how the church was a 501c, I think it is, organization that was charitably funded, and that by putting those voting guides on every chair and telling us who to vote for, he was actually violating the rules on charitable organizations. So the pastor did that. He put all those pamphlets in the back. And if you wanted one, you had to go out and find it in the back burner. Very interesting. And almost everybody I knew voted in lockstep. Almost everybody I knew in my old quiverful evangelical church voted exactly the same, except for my husband and I and a couple others of us. And they really believe some, really atrocious, nasty things. Bobby's comments for Todd. He doesn't believe in soulmates. That's kind of odd. I don't know that I believe in soulmates anymore either, but there are some people you just click with. We truckers are not in support of Jeremy. He has a very bad reputation out on the big roads. We've been kept abreast of Jeremy's treatment of you and others. Very bad. Thank you, damn it, Darcy. I have nothing against truckers at all. I've known a number in my life, and they've been really nice people for the most part. But just like everything in this world, you're going to run across some assholes. You just are. It is just how it is. And I was thinking about this before because I've had some people that have stopped for me on the road when I've had breakdowns that have been truckers. Have been really very, very helpful in the past. Now, I haven't driven in the States in a long time. 5 years. So, and it's scaring me. I'm going to tell you guys very honestly, watching everything that is going on today in the United States with the prices, with the supply chain shortages, we get that here because we get some things from the States, but we get things from all over the world. Let me tell you, we have no problem getting anything from Europe, no problem getting anything from China, from South America. Anything that comes from the United States is in short supply and difficult to get. He was nasty to me in real life, and trust, he is no different a person. I'm sure he is not. I'm sure he is not a very nice person. All you can do is look at some of the things that that Jeremy has said, and Roadhog, and what do you call himself, Boss Hog now? Look at that and say, that's not a stable, well balanced person who has, was it 5 restraining orders against him? Soulmates. Misty, I got a story about that. I got to go back and finish the thing I was talking about, but truckers are bringing all this stuff in, and everybody is overloaded in the States. This COVID has really screwed everything up. Well, Lisa, that's about how it is here. That is about how it is here. $10 will buy you a gallon of gas and a healthy loaf of bread, if you're lucky here. Between the two, like 7 divorces, that's tragic. We were talking about the whole soulmates thing. I don't know. There's some people you just click with, and then there's some people you click with that you shouldn't be with at all, but aren't soulmates. Are just, my husband was giving me a hassle the other day because what was it I was doing? Oh, I know. I was trying to talk to our brokerage. I was trying to get a little tiny bit of money transferred. I didn't even know I had in an old brokerage account. I was trying to get it transferred into a main account that we both owned. And my husband was running his mouth in the background. They were asking me about a password, first boyfriend, and I bobbled it. I couldn't even remember what I'd put. Well, Colleen, yeah, that's true. That's what's going on. Yeah, so here we go. I hope they do keep an eye on those children. My grandma's a log truck driver and my daddy's a logger. Ah, yes, they would. They would be the first to respond. So it's like I'm from Louisiana, home of the Cajun Navy, and I got to tell you, I'm proud of the fact that they go out whenever needed. And so this brokerage thing, my husband was bitching in the background. They were asking me about old boyfriends so that I could get in, and I couldn't remember. My husband later was like, "Who is so and so? Who is so and so? Who is so and so?" Thank you, Erin. And I had to say, um, Chris was somebody that I thought was the love of my life, and it turned out to be just another a-hole. But it took me a long time to get over him because I really thought we had something between us. I've made the best love of my life with a couple of guys that I absolutely knew I wouldn't see again. Sometimes it's like that. Misty, yes. Sometimes it is that way. And I was telling him, I'm the girl with 10,000 first dates before I dated my husband. Between my divorce and getting remarried, it was a long time. It I dated so many guys, and he was flipping out, and I was like, he is jealous. Yes, Lisa, he's still jealous. It's like, dude, we've been married since 1986 with no divorce or split up or anything. So why is he jealous after all this time? It just blows my mind. So I started talking about all the first dates I'd had, and he was flipping out. He was flipping out over that, and I was just laughing, going, they were all for first and last dates for a reason. I love being a trucker. It's a rewarding job. Jeremy is definitely not a professional at all. Um, Damn it, Darcy, I can see that. I can see that, and truck drivers are essential. I know that before I moved here, um, I had to pack up everything I owned and put them on trucks, trusting truck drivers with all of my possessions, my car, everything else, and they got the job done. The problem came in on this end with the tax people in Costa Rica because they're kind of an asshole there about everything when you bring anything in here. Oh, Lisa, that's sweet. That is really sweet. I made Jim chase me. I made him chase me hard. I wasn't just going to settle. He had to meet all the marks. He had to hit all the things, and he did eventually. So, and that's what right now, Dan and Darcy, that's what scares me about what's going on in the U.S. Circling back around to that topic, I'm really afraid for all of us because of the fact that there's all these ships waiting out, waiting to unload. There's not enough dock workers and all that to do it. It's just making it bad for everybody, and nobody's making enough money. Prices are rising. Yeah. Damn it, Darcy. He would live stream while driving the truck. Very scary. Yeah, that always bothered me about him. And there are so many wonderful people out there. And it's funny, I used to tease him with the fact that the FBI does have a serial killers special unit. They used to, that had nothing to do but track truck drivers, because the ones that are bad are very bad. There are a few out there that have done a lot of really bad things and blackened the image of road hogs, the whole trucker industry. Yeah, Missy, that's kind of weird. Kind of weird. Kind of weird. Misty, my husband keeps wishing he'd have met me when I was 16, and I'm just like, no, we would have been horrible together. If I'd been 16 and he'd have been 25, it would not have worked. He would have been too immature. I would have been too immature. I was way too immature at that point in my life. 6 boys. That is quite a few. I wanted a whole pile. I only have 3 kids because biology, unfortunately, would not cooperate. It is what it is after all this time. So, something else I was going to tell you about this week. This week was a little crazy. Not having internet. You never know, Misty. It might have worked. Who knows? Maybe it would have worked for you. Wouldn't have worked for me, I can tell you right now, because after my very brief first marriage, I was all about school and work, school and work, school and work. I wasn't about any of that other nonsense for a while. I went on 10,000 first dates. But you never know. You just never know. So what did all we do this week? I have a close friend in the Ukraine. We talk daily. He's given me a new perspective on everything. He's an inspiration, always grateful and living my life while I have the opportunity. Melody, I actually have somebody I know that's there too, and I love to look at their updates. I was really hard this last week because they're always putting updates on on Facebook. And if you're like me and you're looking at this, you're just dirty Uncle Sal. You don't distract me with that. It puts things in perspective. You're like, oh my. Here I am bitching about internet drama, and there are people dying over there. Dying. Oh, Tamara, I hope that first date works out like it's supposed to. I wondered about that. I was pretty sure that was violating, if nothing else, a company law to be live streaming while driving. He was dismissed from his last job because of it. Now I'm stuck dealing with him again. Oh God, that would be not good at all. That would not be good. My ex-husband and now boyfriend are totally different. Do not think my boyfriend would be good with my twin. Yeah, I hear you. Um, Damn it, Darcy, I know he is. We've seen enough proof that he just lies about everything. And can we not have a little guilty pleasure when out saving the world? Um, yeah, I hear you. Hermes, that's how I was viewing this. This is exactly how I was viewing this. We were having, and that I gotta share this with you guys. I had a huge victory this week. I signed up for Social Security. Yes, finally. I always said through the years, it's like, I doubt that'll be around when I get old enough to actually draw on it. You can draw at 62. I'm going to be 62 soon. I filed. It went well. And if you're living overseas and you have to file Social Security, guess what? The embassy can help you. It's way easier than trying to call Social Security. Um, it's just way easier. No, I haven't. I haven't watched the Johnny Amber trial at all. I've been so distracted around here between trying to get on and finish my Social Security thing, and I just haven't watched. Also, Keanu Reeves was just here. So it's not what you expect to see when you're walking through the Walmart subsidiary. It's Keanu Reeves. But he was here in Tamarindo like a couple blocks from my house. So I laughed over that and said, "Yep, I'm going to go stare at you for a while." And it's kind of funny because I've never been a Johnny Depp fan. I know that makes me weird, and it's just never appealed to me. So I haven't kept up with any of the Amber and Johnny drama at all. I know there's some allegations of abuse. I don't know how true they are on either side. We in the industry are taking a stand against him. I am collecting information so my employer will get the entire picture of his behavior. Can you not just direct your employer to his YouTube channel? He has so many videos up of himself live streaming and driving at the same time, unless he's firebombed it off in the fight with Michelle. That's why I can't completely cut off Michelle and say, oh, she's lying, because if there's any possibility that any of that is true at all, somebody needs to help the poor girl, or at least be on her corner, because it's really hard. Johnny looks like he needs a hot soapy bath. That's what I was thinking. I was going to say that, but could have. From looking at Keanu, he could have used it too. But this is Tamarindo, and a lot of people look like that, and nobody takes baths. So you have all of that. Oh. And I guess you have all the copies of the restraining orders and all of that some people have gotten. He has made, hey, Be Free. Yeah, good to see you too. He has made a lot of, oh, they went ahead and solved that. Okay. I didn't realize that. I'll have to take a look. The Kristen Smart thing. Guarantee my man would help. Oh yeah. And so I'm all over the place tonight, but I was going to ask the thing with Roadhog, if you can collect all of the legal documents, everything that was going on. Colleen, I think she probably does too, but like I said, I'm not going to jump in there. The employer is responsible for the legal side. I don't know. I would have thought that the first time he drove whilst live streaming, that would be enough, but I don't know. What do I know? I don't know anything about that industry more than what more than what the average person knows, and maybe not even that much. It's been years since I talked to anybody who was in that industry, and here it's way different. It's just crazy different. So I filed for Social Security. I'm all signed up. I'm happy about that. And now the new thing is COVID is going down here, so I'm going to have to go back to church tomorrow, and I'm not looking forward to that. And the other thing I wanted to talk about just a little bit is, if you follow me any length of time, you've heard me talk about a woman here in Tamarindo that came here to build a school. She built a school and started suing people and taking custody of their children, taking custody of her children, and all kinds of things. And there's been a lot of lawsuits. And so I started digging into this with a thought of taking notes, writing a book eventually about that. Guess what? She's been run out of Tamarindo now. Turns out she's had a pile of bankruptcies. I found out she started all these schools and gotten in trouble with parents. She did the most horrible thing here in Tamarindo. I found out this week from somebody else who runs another school here. She told all of the parents that she was fully, I want to say certified, but that's not the word, accredited. So that if your child went to her school, they could go to any college in the US, they could go to college here in Costa Rica. Well, guess what? The school is not credited at all. There are parents on the warpath after this woman. So she picked up and moved to Alajuela near San Jose and is opening another school there. So I've been tracking this. This is a fascinating story because it also has to do with Mars Hill Church in Seattle. She was involved with them. She was involved with what went down at the end. Yeah, I'm all over the place. Yeah, I'm all over the place tonight. Yeah, so there's that. And I'm watching that. And it was just a weird week that all this information dump on her came out. Is she not wanted? I don't know. Burn her phone and they are onto him. I wouldn't doubt it. Oh, Barbara, you live in Monterey County. My husband went to what is that called? The Defense Language Institute in Monterey to learn Russian many years ago. So, um, the thing that upset me about Roadhog, besides him constantly calling women dirty names, and I kept saying, please don't do that. Can you tone it down just a little bit? Was the fact that he was trying to get his moderators or anybody to come here to Costa Rica and stomp my ass. Well, I knew that wasn't very likely to happen because, first of all, I live in one of the million trillion little villages around Tamarindo instead of Tamarindo proper. I was teasing him one day and said, I'm a mile and a half from Playa Grande. Meanwhile, Mrs. is on TikTok telling people one of the kids almost died in surgery, and that's not true. Ugh, that's not true. So he was encouraging people to come here, and I kind of laughed about it because it was scary that he was encouraging people to come here. At the time, we were under such strict COVID restrictions that to come here was not an easy task. I mean, you would have to show up with either this $1,000 insurance, or you'd have to be fully vaccinated, or you'd have to have $1,000 for car rental because that's the deposit they require here. It's crazy. Grifting 101. Yep. Oh, well, thank you, Damn Darcy. I'm glad you came and said something. I'm just going to pay. I try to pay him no mind. And the only reason that I'm speaking now is because the Mrs. just on the off chance that she's right. And I don't know if she is or not. So we're just going to stay off to the side and put that over. Okay, you guys, I'm running out of oxygen here. It's been one of those days. My best friend called me. We had a 3-hour conversation. I'm kind of sitting there like this, listening to it earlier, and that was wild. Uh-huh. Seattle, I wish I could send you to the former pastor of Mars Hill. He's such a jerk, but I'm not doing that. Java Man, I was just talking about the nonsense going on in the community, and there is a hell of a lot of nonsense. Everybody is fighting over everything. So we're paying no attention to that. We're just going to go ahead and go forward because that's the best we can do. Brenda Lee, I'm glad to see you too. I am going to go ahead and go. You have a great night. And try not to let any of this crap bother you. If it does, log off for a while. That's what I'm going to do. I've got some quilting to do. Java Man, I don't think she did anything. I've been offline for a full week because of internet issues here. I don't think she did anything, but I think that there's been a lot of stuff said that I missed. Who knows? Love you guys.